This is Investment Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Daily live streaming interactive. Featuring Mrs. Backup. Subscribe, hit the notification, smash the likes. Now, here's Backup Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to Digital Perspectives, everybody. I have changed the name of the channel. I haven't changed the template yet, but I am working on getting a new template up. There's a lot of great things happening with the show as well as the crypto space. So the new channel name is Digital Perspectives, but you can still follow me at Backup Bradley on Twitter and everything that we're talking about here, and we are going to talk about it. So today I want to talk about a post that came out yesterday early in the morning, and I didn't get a chance to cover it yesterday, but it's from Jim Rickards. Now, I am a huge fan of Jim Rickards. My take on this world's most powerful central bank, the Fed, joins the central bank of central banks, BIS, to dominate cryptocurrency and run other cryptos into a ditch. Crypto groupies may laugh now. Just give these two a little time. They'll get there. Now, what he's referencing here is the post below, and if you can't see it, I'm going to read it to you. It was the original post that came from BIS, Bank of International Settlements. It says, BIS Innovation Hub is pleased to announce a strategic partnership with the Federal Reserve, New York Fed, to further development of fintech initiatives for global financial system. Now, let's go into that, and I click and open this up for us to take a look at here. And then we're going to have some thoughts about all of this and what it may or may not mean. But I'm certainly going to give you my opinion on the matter. So here we go. Now, looking at this paper or the article that has come out here from BIS Innovation Hub to expand to new locations in Europe and North America. Now, I'm not going to read the whole document so you can breathe a sigh of relief here, but I am going to go down this first half and a couple of these quotes that happened. So, BIS Innovation Hub to extend global reach with 4 new centers over the next 2 years in collaboration with central banks. New locations, listen to this now, Toronto, London, Frankfurt, Paris, Stockholm, strategic partnership in New York, which will be the New York Fed. Expansion will allow Innovation Hub to spur central bank work across multiple fintech pillars. The board of the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, today announced the expansions of BIS Innovation Hub with the establishment of new hub centers across Europe and North America in cooperation with member central banks. In the next 2 years, the BIS will open centers in collaboration with the Bank of Canada in Toronto, the Bank of England in London, the European Central Bank Eurosystem, Frankfurt and Paris, and 4 Nordic central banks, Denmark's National Bank, the Central Bank of Iceland, the Central Bank of Norway, and Riksbank in Stockholm. The BIS will also form a strategic partnership with the Federal Reserve System in New York. Listen to this first quote here from Augustin Carstens. The BIS Innovation Hub is an investment in the future of central banking and the financial system. These new centers will expand our reach significantly and help create a global force for fintech innovation. It goes on to say the expansion will build on the foundation already put in place for the first 3 hub centers in Hong Kong with the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, Singapore with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and Switzerland with the Swiss National Bank. Now listen to this quote, which I really love, from Benoit Courier. With this expansion, the Innovation Hub will be well placed to advance work on a broad range of issues of importance to the central banking community, including digital currency and digital payments, cybersecurity, distributed ledger technology, and artificial intelligence. This expansion is a testament to the central banking community's commitment to innovation and cooperation. Now, that's Benoit Courier. Now, I have to say that when I hear this, and I come back for a second, if I could, to Jim's comment about these 2 powerful central banks, the Fed and the BIS, the central bank of central banks, to dominate cryptocurrency and run other cryptos into a ditch. Crypto groupies may laugh now. Just give these 2 a little time. They'll get there. When I hear what he writes there, you know, I've covered, and if my memory serves me correctly, we covered this together with co-host on Friday's show, the Week in Review with Cryptopolis, and pretty extensively, I might add, about the idea and notion of the way they're using the word and the term cryptocurrency, right? And it seems very all-encompassing at this point. However, we covered a conference that Jim Rickards actually did, and he broke down in the conference very clearly that not all cryptocurrencies were the same. And although most of the speech he had done that day, and I couldn't find it to pull it up for you right now, so forgive me for not finding it, but time didn't allow, but just referencing that, I just want to reference this point that they use broad stroking terms, because in that one particular conference with Jim Rickards, he went into detail about certain cryptocurrencies that would or would not survive in his eyes. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jim Rickards is a huge gold guy. He's a world-renowned author and an economic genius economist, and he has consulted many different presidents on his thoughts on the economy and things of that nature. So he is an extremely, extremely brilliant man. He's not a huge fan of crypto per se, but I do like following him and getting his take on things. Now, to the point of the fact that not all cryptos are the same, to the notion that, you know, they use, and when I say they, I mean Jim, as well as Augustin Carstens and Benoit Coyer and people of this high level placement in the banking and even regulatory government sector at this point. Because we have to remember, there is no designation or classification on XRP yet. In fact, the closest thing we've gotten in recent days is when Christian Carlo came out and gave his professional opinion with a paper that was written. And we know that, obviously, sidebar, we need to understand that, you know, he is legal counsel on Wilkie Bar and legal counsel for Ripple. But his notion and his professional opinion on what XRP is that it's not only not a security, but a currency. A currency. I offer the notion that when you look at what Jim is talking about here, about these two powerful banks, these two powerful central banks coming together and running other cryptos into a ditch, I think everyone on this show understands that I have said I believe everything is going to run on the ledger. It is the universal ledger. It was recently made interoperable with the ETH network via the ILP and then to the XRP ledger. Chris Larson has told us that they have been able to have Bitcoin on the XRP ledger since as far back as 2014. The idea about this universal ledger becoming this foundational trust layer that the space is built upon also carries over to look at what Coinfield did with Sologenic. They built a fractional stock platform company where you can go and buy tokenized fractional stocks off of the XRP ledger. 30,000 stocks available around the world. The company's model is built off of the XRP ledger. The idea I have said many times about the universal ledger being the XRP ledger being the universal ledger that everyone builds on or transacts across. I don't think for a second that the 5,000 plus coins in this space will remain. I believe, like Brad Garlinghouse, that 90 or 90+% of them won't make it because the majority of them don't have a pain point that they're solving for someone or an industry. And rightfully so, they should fall away. However, for those that do remain, I feel like what we are moving into is crossing a threshold to where we move not, look, I mean, this is not just about regulation, okay? Look at the internet that we currently use right now. Are you on the internet or are you on the dark web? One thing's for sure, you're on the internet, right? But we all know that clearly there is an internet and there's a dark web. I offer that, you know, the people in high-level financial positions like the central banks or levels of government or regulatory agencies, they may see this space as a nascent emerging market, which is a nice little catchphrase for the dark web of crypto, the wild, wild west. We've all used these terms. Tell me that you're going to see central banks or financial institutions use any of these tokens, XRP or otherwise, without some real definition of not only the asset itself, but the space. The virtual framework of this space must be defined. It's not going to be as simple as, well, Bitcoin's network is defined. No, I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it. You know, what I'm talking about is looking at the internet and all the different protocols that make up the internet. I'm not going to name them all, but just FTP, the HTTP, the TCP/IP, right? You get the drill. All these different protocols make the internet we use right now. But there's still a dark web. I know I don't go on it. I'm not looking to be on that. If you come at it from the regulatory, legislative side, just like we watched the digital dollar conference yesterday or the day before, and we saw the approach. They want to know what they need to do to get this done. And what was one of the messages that Christian Carlo talked about is building the necessary infrastructure for the digital dollar to exist. It's the same thing here. Look, you may have been in this space for the last 10 years. You may have been in this space for the last 10 days. But the reality is we don't have the virtual framework for this space to be truly defined so regulators can regulate it. Let's assume that we have the regulation we need today. Well, where's the out of bounds for the regulator? What's too far right? What's too far left? It hasn't been defined. But now, if we dedicate a handful of protocols, and I focus on the ILP and the XRP ledger, and maybe the Ethereum network is too, and a couple other things, but I'm just focusing for a conversation at this point as the ILP and the XRP ledger. Let's say that we designate a set of protocols to incorporate with the internet protocols that already exist. So now we can get this trust layer going, and now regulators know what is the internet and what is the dark web. What is the regulated crypto space and what is still the wild, wild west or the crypto dark web, right? When you look at this and then you start saying, well, how do you figure that out? Well, I think they're working on it. This is a document that came out a while ago from last year, in fact. And actually, this document and this conversation really was spurred with me and Big Skinny having talks. And I'll tell you something, I have some of the best conversations with this guy. You talk about somebody that is absolutely triple smart when it comes to this space. He is absolutely triple smart. And we have some of the best conversations. And this document was sent to me back in October or November of last year by him, I believe it was. And I know it was, in fact. And this is the conversation. And look how long this conversation's been going on. Investigating the impact of global stablecoins. Well, that's a much different thing than cryptocurrency. Well, now we're talking about global stablecoins. And don't get it twisted. If XRP were to get a definition as a currency in a global stablecoin, it doesn't mean that it's only going to be worth $1. And it doesn't mean that it's only going to be worth 17 cents. it'll have to be worth a value that's able to carry the transactions of the central banking world to start with. All right, guys, I know I kind of went on a tangent here today, but I just want to really remind everybody that that's why XRP is XRP. The X stands for the fact that it is a currency that is not issued by a country. That's not my opinion. That's David Schwartz's answer on Quora. The OCC is getting ready to release a federal charter for virtual asset service providers and non-financial banks to participate in a federal charter, so you no longer have to do this state-by-state licensing in the United States. And remember, that's just domestically. This is a global market we're talking about here. Am I speculating? You bet I am. But you know what? That's what we do here. And we do it, but at the end of the day, always bring yourself back home, as I do, to the fundamentals of what we know. And what I do know is that Chris Giancarlo, who is counsel at Ripple through Wilkie Barr, and also the head of the Digital Dollar Project, and I don't believe for a second he would sacrifice his professional integrity to work with a company that he didn't think wasn't going to be a winner. And I don't think he'd offer his public opinion on what he thought XRP was, which is a currency, if he thought it wasn't. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. I will catch you on the next one.